Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel. As you know, I'm also an avid collector of pocket knives, folding knives, and I wanted to find out what is popular these days amongst people that want to buy a pocket knife. So I've been looking at Amazon's bestsellers internationally, in Germany, UK and also in the US. And I tried to find some that are under 20 euros in purchasing price and still in the bestseller list. And I found these three models, completely different as you can see, very different knives, but extremely popular. But are they any good? We're here to find out. The first is the MTec A705. Actually, you can get this in many different colors, but this was the one that was actually available on Prime in Germany. And just for the fun of it, I'm also wearing one of the watches that I got when I was still sponsored by Gerber from China. Still a little bit of plastic in here, so it isn't that a good match? Very cheesy, but fun. Actually, the knife is not bad, first of all, because it has a bottle opener here. So anything that has a beer bottle opener, in my book, is a useful product. So it also is an assisted knife. And I like that because you have this little notch here, and it's very easy to open. So it flips open. As you can see, it even has a golden blade. And you can close it. It's fairly easy to close. But for an assisted opener, it really makes sense. It has a partly serrated edge, which I like because, you know, this part is easy to sharpen. And this one will easily cut through rope and everything. Let me show you the knife in some more detail so the camera focuses. Okay, as you can see here, it's a beautiful knife. If you like bling bling. Is it sharp? Well, first of all, the blade material isn't so great. Of course, these are under $20 knives. I'm not sure if it specifies here what it is. It says it's stainless and made in China. Well, of course, for that price. I would guess it's not the greatest steel in the world, but it may still be sharp. So let's test the serrated edge first. Yeah, serrated edges and paper is not such a good combination. So let's... But as you see, the non-serrated is very, very sharp. Reasonably sharp, actually. Okay. Okay, well, it's not the sharpest knife that I've ever seen, but it is definitely a very useful blade. So the sharpness test is kind of okay. So then let's see how it works on a piece of wood. I do this specifically because, you know, you have to hold on to a knife quite hard and then it turns out if this is ergonomic or not. I mean, it is a bit edgy, but the shape actually is not so bad. So let's see what happens when we carve with it. Actually, well, it does a good job on both the serrated and the straight edge. And yeah, this is a little unpleasant in the palm, but it's not so bad. I actually think it's a rather useful knife. It's not bad for the price. So this next one is the Gerber Paraframe Mini. Let me show you its features. Okay, as you see, it seems like the workmanship is really good on this one. It is not a one-hand opener, so you have to open it with two hands. But this makes it legal to carry in countries like Germany. It is a very small knife, but not so small that it wouldn't be useful anymore. You can still hold it very comfortably with just 3 fingers and the thumb. It seems like it has a well-made blade. I hope that the sharpness is good. It doesn't say what kind of steel it is. Okay, sharpness test. Right, so it has a straight edge. And it is a sharp knife, yeah. A very sharp knife. Amazing. This is actually under $8 in the US, and I think it's like 15 euros or something in Europe. This is a very small knife, and I like that it still has a clip, because this could really be an EDC knife. It's like a modern gentleman's knife, all metal, so it is really sturdy. I like it. So how does it carve? Again, we want to find out how well it handles. It actually sits okay in the hand for such a small knife. Yeah. Of course, you can't really get the same kind of pressure down on your piece of wood as you can with a longer knife, but it's doing a fine job for the small size. So yes, it's a two-hand opener. Again, it makes it legal to carry in Germany, but it is locking. So it doesn't even have a frame lock, so it's not just a liner lock, it's a full-blown frame lock. Not bad for a knife that small and that inexpensive. So this next one actually looks quite big because it's delivered in this kind of a belt holster, and it is a big knife. And that is because it's more like a multi-tool and not just a knife. It is sold as the Orsifow in Germany, whatever that means. Alright, in the UK it's called the Bilberry. Anyway, it's always the same thing, at least it looks identical. It's big, it's like the idea of a Swiss Army knife, but I think it is more useful than a Swiss Army knife because the tools are bigger. So, the RoverTac, let me show you its features. So first, of course, it has a blade, and it's blackened. It's partly serrated, which I always like, as I said. The blade shape is okay, I think it's pretty useful for a tool. So we'll find out if the quality is any good. Of course, liner lock, like all the other knives do. They're all liner locks. Then you have this thing here, and you wonder what that is. What is this, like some kind of probe or something? No, if you keep turning, it really shows its character, because what it is, it's actually a set of pliers. They automatically swing back, so they're spring-loaded. I'm a little concerned about how thin this is. I mean, if you really want to repair something strong with this, I'm a little bit afraid that this will break off. But on the other hand, it is a lot better than nothing. So this is like for small repairs and so on. It's just a lot better than nothing. On the other side, you have some more tools as well. So you have this kind of bottle opener here. Alright, it's always practical to have a bottle opener. And there is another bottle opener here, so we got two bottle openers. And of course you have like screwdriver attachments to the top. I'm not sure why you would want two bottle openers. And then you have this thing here, which, it's like, it looks just like a rectangular, let me isolate this here. So this looks like a rectangular device. Not sure really what it is for, until I looked what is in that belt holster further on. And then it makes some sense. Because you got all these bits in the belt holster. Actually, so this can be like a screwdriver. What you can do is, you take this one out, and this one attaches to the rectangular bit here. And then you can just turn this into anything that you want. So for example, you could put it as a big Phillips type screwdriver and anything else. And this of course is a standard 1/4 inch adapter, so you have a huge selection of Torx bits and everything that you can possibly imagine. And this makes it really into a versatile tool. Well, of course you have to carry it in the belt holster, because otherwise you're not going to have these bits at hand. So this probably is the most practical part of the entire knife. Okay, the RoverTac sharpness test. Nice! Very sharp knife. How does it do on the serrated? Yeah, serrated of course always is an issue. But with the normal part of the blade, it goes through the paper like through butter. Carving test. I have to say that its chunkiness makes it feel really good in the hand. I have to say this is probably the most ergonomic one in the entire test field. It probably doesn't look as cool as the MTec A705, but it for sure gives you a better grip. And this really turns out, this is really useful when carving. Yeah, this is nice. I'd say a very practical knife. Very nice for an EDC, where legal. Now comes the stability test, which means that we will destroy the knives in the end to find out how much abuse they can actually take. Now I know that a lot of knife companies, even reputable ones, are actually testing how much force it takes to overcome the lock. In this case here, it's a liner lock. So how much force does it take to break this one? I find this most useless and unrealistic, because come on, who's going to try to fold these knives in? Are you going to hack with it with the backside? Not really. The abuse that it has to take, in my view, has to come from hacking with it. So what if you hack with it really hard? How much force can they take? Because a knife like this, if you look closely, see if the camera focuses, you can see it's this pin that actually holds the blade back. And this pin in a knife like this is only attached to very, very small scales next to the blade. So this is probably gonna pop easily. But we have to find out how much abuse can this take. And therefore we have constructed a machine. The rubber-powered Knife Destroyer 2000. Let me show you its features. Okay, as you see, the knives get clamped into a holder. Each one of the knives has a unique holder that is custom made for the relative knife. And there is this swing arm, and the swing arm is actually powered by a rubber band. And here in the top, it actually locks in place with this mechanism. Let me show you the mechanism here. Okay. As you can see, when I pull on the string, this is released and pulled down by the rubber onto the wooden block. And here it automatically snaps in place. So all you have to do is bring the arm up and then it locks in place. The question is not, will rubber be able to destroy the knives? The only question is, how much rubber do we need to destroy them? And that shall be the quality aspect of the sturdiness of our knives in the test field. Obviously, one rubber band for this knife is no problem. Let's ramp it up. Now we are at 3 rubber bands, which makes it a lot harder already. Let's see what happens. No, it held. It held. But the blade, the blade is already rattling a little bit. Yeah, you can clearly see that it's starting to suffer. So let's use 4. And yeah, 4 killed it. It took 4 bands to kill it. Now we can clearly see what happened. As you see that the bolts that secures the blade was actually kicked off and the scales were spreaded out, and then the round bolt is still in here. So it can probably be repaired, although it will never be as good as new. But still, it's not bad, because keep in mind that 3 rubber bands from this here, this is a lot harder than you would be able to do with your arm, because you will never be able to match that kind of power swing. Because the rubber bands, just make sure that this is like a full power karate chop from a very strong person. So it didn't perform all that bad. So let's now move on to the little Gerber in its own frame. So this is a gentleman's knife, therefore it won't be as sturdy as the bigger ones, at least it's not expected. So we're starting with just 1 band and take it from there. Alright. Okay. Little play in the blade, but not much. Let's ramp it up to 2. Okay. And it's still holding. It gives a little, but it's still holding. And folks, this is amazing. An $8 knife. And it is still holding. I don't believe it. Okay, the play is larger now, but it's still holding. Band number 4. All right. No, it can't be. It's still holding. It still is holding. It is, of course, now a loose one, but it is still holding fine. I guess we have to go to band number 5. Okay, band number 5. Okay, that's it. Now it's gone. But 5 bands, come on, 5 bands. So guys, it's clear what happened. As you can see, the blade kicked out the bolt here again, and that caused the damage. And I even think that it can be repaired easily, because the bolt is still there, the frame did not suffer much. I think just rearranging the bolt in its place and the knife will be as good as new. Okay, now with the RoverTac multi-tool, and since that doesn't really look very sturdy, we're starting with one band carefully. Okay, no problem, no rattling. Let's go for two. Okay. And all right. Uh-oh, the rattling of death is starting. Yeah, that's it. 3 bands. That's all it took. Again, the same issue. The little stopper bolt got kicked out of the way and the scales have been pressed apart. And that's what killed it. Now it is really interesting to see what kind of damage this made to the blades, and you can clearly see that here on this one, on the multi-tool here, the blade really suffered from wood, which shouldn't really happen with a quality blade. And even the M-Star, if we look closely at it, you can see that the blade suffered a little bit, although not as badly as the RoverTac. But to my amazement, the cheapest knife in the entire test field, the Gerber, seems like absolutely perfect. Nothing happened to the blade of the little Gerber. I think I will repair it in the end. Now to show you how a really well-made knife works, I bought this one. It's been sold on Amazon as the Aubey, so I think the official name is the Böker Magnum Dagger. And this one doesn't really belong to the competition because one, it's not one of the most popular knives on Amazon. Far from it. It's actually hard to find. I could only find it on Amazon Germany and nowhere else, except it's sold out. And they only had like 6 pieces left when I bought this one. I think it's one of the greatest knives under 20 euros that I've ever seen. So the Böker Magnum Dagger, let me show you its features. As you see, the scales are made from steel. As you see, a very sturdy frame lock. And also you can see that what I really like is it's a dagger, but it's of course only sharpened on one side. But the other side can be sharpened because look what happens when I fold it. The blade completely disappears in the scales. This means that I can safely sharpen the other half, which I probably will do once I got a suitable sharpener. And I love that because I love two-bladed folding knives. I also think it's really cool that the knife actually has this tip here. It's like a sharpened tip, so you can even use it to fight in close condition. And also it has this mean triangular tip on the other side. Now, why is this gonna perform so well in our destruction machine? Look at that pin. That pin is like an integral part of the blade, and it rests against the metal lock, the steel knock here. So this is gonna hold out a lot better than all of the others, is my prediction. So let's mount it into the machine of death. Okay, on this one we're starting with 6 bands. So 1 band more than the strongest knife of the test field endured. It's already quite hard to cock this thing. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's kind of tearing the wooden thing apart here, but the blade is absolutely non-rattling. This is probably gonna destroy my machine, so I have to repair it later on. Let's get more rubber. Since I am not sure how much longer the machine part here will hold out, I immediately jumped to 10 rubber bands. And it's already fucking hard. Oh, to cock. Oh. Wow. I'm gonna be really surprised if the machine or the knife and both actually will survive this shock. Let's go for it. And the knife held, the machine broke. Look at that. Yeah, as you can see, the knife actually cut deeply into this thing here. Let me see if I can get it out. Yeah, here is the knife. Okay. Well, I have to say the knife is having a tiny little bit of rattling now, but it's almost nothing. And actually, I think it could easily be fixed by tightening the axis a little bit. But what a blow. And see, everything here is blown to pieces. That was a lot of force. Wow. So as I said, I tightened the axis a little bit, and now everything is really solid again. The knife is in good shape. Amazing. And of course the blade didn't suffer at all, even from the 10 rubber band impact. It's a shame that this knife seems to be out of production. I think Böker should start making it again, because it's so cool. So I think the unofficial winner of this contest is the little Gerber, because see, I was able to repair it, even though it wasn't so easy. I had to actually cut a slot into the axis to get it loose, because otherwise it would just turn. So it does still, you know, have some play, but it is again a useful knife. After all this abuse. Amazing. But before it's time to say goodbye, I would like to show you one knife that I only found on Amazon Germany actually. It's the Ned Foss Tanto, and it's actually a Tanto knife that flips open very easily. It's not an assisted knife, but it is okay. I don't think it will last a long time in the machine. Therefore I'm not using it for that, and also because it's not really widely available. But the interesting part is that here it comes with a slingshot. That's right, because you have this button here, and when you press it, you can actually take this glass breaker out and replace it with a slingshot attachment here. See, this is the slingshot attachment. You simply put it in, you press on the button again, put it in, release the button, and then, yes, it's a little bit loose, but it is a functional slingshot. Let's try to shoot a 12mm ball. Okay, and the draw is not very long, it's just to the corner of your mouth, but that's okay. One more. Okay, and yeah, you can really hit something with it. Interesting concept, I think. Also, of course, this reminds me of the little slingshot add-on that I've designed a long time ago for the Wagner Knives by Böker. This is actually the one that is legal to carry in Germany. And it attaches to the rear end of it. And of course, these bands are a lot longer for butterfly shooting. And also the whole thing is a lot more sturdy, I think. So, let's try. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot more powerful. But this is still not so bad. I put all the links down there for you guys. Those are affiliate links, so if you should order, I get a few pennies from whatever you buy. Cheap knives means that even the few percent for the affiliate link won't be adding too much. So that is the end of my little knife review to destruction. I hope you enjoyed it, because that's it for today. And thanks and bye-bye.